What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're in the car today. We got little man snoozing Susan. It's about 4 o'clock, which is a little late for his nap, but I took this as an optimum time to go through and talk about chapter 5 of the book Out of Control, which is so good. It's titled How Rescuing Our Children Teaches Irresponsibility. And just profound, man. This book has just changed the way that I look at a lot of things, but this chapter especially, because I have already done this a ton of times with Lincoln. I've rescued him from situations instead of letting him feel the natural consequences of those situations. And so this can be taken as far as just hanging out in the skate park. Like, this dude loves the skate park. And it was so hard for me to just go and let him play in the skate park and not intervene and not say, watch out for that kid, or be aware of this guy, or kids are coming here, or watch out for this guy, watch out for this, watch out for that. Instead, I just zipped my lips, was quiet, and let him explore and let him navigate and let him learn through the natural consequences of the skate park, the rules of the skate park. That's just what he was able to do, and he was able to self-direct and self-guide himself to now where he's absolutely crushing the skate park, which will be one of the vlogs these days. I swear it's going to be epic. Though, if I chose to intervene, if I chose to say, oh, watch out for this guy, or watch out for that guy, or watch out for this, and I chose to intervene, the only reason that I'm doing that is because I can't handle the level of anxiety that I feel about my son getting in other people's way, crashing into other people, which are all images of me just trying to be a good parent, right? I want to be a good parent, so I don't want my kid to be in anyone's way. I don't want anything to go wrong there. And so I step in, I intervene, even though my son is capable of handling those situations. Like, he's crashed 4 times in the skate park, has learned from each one, and now he can navigate the entire skate park and watch out for kids on his own. I never had to say anything. And this is the thing that we do. We step in, we rescue our children, but then it just teaches them irresponsibility, because then they don't feel the actual consequences. They're not able to self-direct. They're not able to feel the consequences of the decisions that they're making. There was a beautiful example of this in how one of her clients' daughters was always late for school. His daughter, she was always late. She'd always miss the bus. She would never make the bus. And so what the mother realized in session together is what they realized is that the mother would always rescue the daughter by driving her to school when she was late. And so the daughter would always wake up. She'd go through the morning routine. She was always late. She'd miss the bus every single time. And the mother would rescue her daughter by driving her to school. And on the way she was driving her to school, they'd have this huge long speech about why you should be on time and why you should do this and why you should do that. And what she realized in session with Dr. Shefali was that she was rescuing her daughter from feeling the pain, feeling the natural consequences of missing the bus. And so what she was aware of was like, oh, interesting. She feels a natural consequence, or she's rescuing her daughter from feeling that natural consequence of missing the bus. And then also on top of it, rescuing her, and then in the car getting upset with her about missing the bus. How can she possibly be upset with her daughter when she's the one who's rescuing her daughter and keeping her from actually changing? How could she be upset with her? It's her fault as well. She's colluding with her daughter in missing this routine. And so what they decided to do was they decided to practice, make sure that her daughter knew the skills, knew the routine, had the skills, had the learnings, had everything she needed to wake up and go through her routine and catch the bus on time. And so they practiced those routines. They practiced, and the daughter had the skills. They saw that the daughter had the skills, had everything she needed to get there on time. It was just her responsibility on missing the bus. There wasn't anything that she needed, because that's important. We want to always make sure that our kids are set up for success, that they're just set up for the tools that they need. Like, let's say, for example, if the daughter didn't have a way to wake up on time, well, that's our fault for not providing the daughter the tools that she might need to learn or to grow or to be or to wake up on time and go catch the bus. So maybe it's, okay, now you got to go buy them an alarm clock, or now you got to go get them a phone, or whatever the case might be to help them wake up on time. So they practiced the routine, they practiced everything, and they woke up, and the mom was guaranteed set this time not to intervene. So what she did was, the daughter, again, went through routine, was late for school, missed the bus. And so she decided that she wasn't going to do anything. She's not going to drive her to school this time. That the daughter has to feel the natural consequences of her actions. And so what happened was this daughter freaked out. She freaked out. She felt the anxiety of missing the bus. Like, what am I to do? How am I supposed to get to school? What's going to happen now? And so the mom let her feel that anxiety, because this is key. You don't want to let your kids feel too much anxiety that's overwhelming, and you don't want them to feel too little anxiety that's not helping with their growth. You want it to be just in the middle, where they have the tools, they have the energy, they have the nervous system, because that's really all that it is, to handle the event. So you want them to let them feel the pain. So she let her daughter freak out for about, I think it was like 5 minutes, she said in the book. And then afterwards they came together and they're like, okay, what can you do to get to school and to make up for this? And the daughter's like, well, since I'm already late and I've already missed a class, I guess I'm going to have to go to the principal. I'm going to have to get a late pass from the principal, and I'm going to have to go about my day. And so that's exactly what she did. She ended up going to school, I believe through walked to school, went to the principal's office, got a late pass for being late, and went back and resumed her studies. All while the mom didn't intervene, didn't do nothing. She just helped come up with a solution. And so after that day, she never missed the bus again, because she felt that energy, that anxiety. She felt that emotion, which is a good thing. Remember, it becomes a bad thing. Bad thing when there's too much or too little. Just the right amount is perfect for our kids. And so she felt the perfect amount of stress, because that's really all that anxiety is stress. She felt the perfect amount of stress for her to change her actions and never miss the bus again. It's just like interesting. And so it's all about letting these natural consequences do the job, instead of us as parents rescuing them and helping them and aiding them and colluding with them in the behavior anyways. Because I think so often we as parents, I myself, am so caught up in trying to look good, trying to be a good parent, whatever that means, that gets in the way of letting Lincoln feel the actual consequences of his behavior. Like, for example, the skate park. I wanted to tell him to watch out for everyone. I wanted to let every kid know, make sure you don't watch for this, or don't get in anyone's way, Lincoln. I wanted to say all that stuff, which is just me obsessed with this image of trying to be a good parent, which is me also upset about my belief about him getting in the way will somehow mean, like, I struggle with that thing as well. It's like, I don't want to get in the way of people. Well, it's like, interesting. So this is all about me and not about him. So the more that we can make it about him and less about us and our insecurities and our own limiting beliefs and whatever we're going on, the more that we're winning as parents. And I believe that that's the whole goal, is just to let these natural consequences teach our children and direct our children and help them self-direct and self-navigate. So there's lots of natural consequences that come up. And so again, whenever we try to force something to be a certain way, now I've gotten this before where I've like tried to come up with a natural consequence for cleaning up the toys, and it's like, well, I'm just going to take away all your toys. That's not natural consequence. The natural consequence is like, you got to clean all these up. And if you're not capable of cleaning all these up by yourself, then you get to help dad from dad. But we get to clean all of these up first. And so whenever we have to add something or add a consequence or come up with something, is when we're using discipline and punishment, not letting natural consequences occur. And I love this whole philosophy. I love this whole idea, because I believe that the more that I can get this guy to self-direct and self-regulate and be on his own and explore the world and take risks and learn and grow and not have to have me to tell him what to do, the more that he has developed that trust in himself to do that throughout the rest of his life. Because that's what I want. Like, that's what I'm learning right now, is like, how can I trust myself in making a decision and self-regulating, self-directing myself based on how I feel and how I think. Like, I'm learning that right now. Like, literally, I went to Grand Cache yesterday, and I sat at IGA whether or not I should go in and get food or not, because I was fasting. It was just like, like I sat there for 10 minutes trying to think of a decision of whether or not I should make this or not. And I believe that stems to me always getting spoon-fed and wanting to, like, there's a couple reasons. Number one, I always want to be right. But number two, getting spoon-fed from everyone. this is where you go next. This is the next step, Ethan. This is what you do next, because I don't want to make a wrong step or don't want to make a wrong mistake. So I just wait for someone to give it to me, or even God, but that's not true. So beautiful, beautiful chapter. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions or any thoughts on this, drop it below, because I'm just trying to like go through this and learn as much as I can to be accountable to this guy and to grow as a parent. So if anything came up, drop it down below. Also, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. So much love. We're going to go hit the skate park for a couple hours before we got to go home, because we should actually be getting home right about now, to be honest. We might turn around. No, we'll go for an hour and then we'll go. Peace, guys.